What's up guys, welcome back to another video in the SQL Made Simple series. In today's video, we'll be looking at the in operator. This is an efficient way of checking if a value matches multiple criteria. So rather than writing a very long or condition, you can just easily use the in operator and you're good to go. We'll be seeing how that works and how you can put that to good use. My name is Kola Ademola, and without wasting so much time, let's get straight to the video. Alright, imagine this scenario. You have your customer data and you have customers living in different cities. And you're trying to filter your data, or you're trying to look at customers that are living in a specific city. Let's say maybe 2 or 3 different cities. You have to write a very long or condition. That would be like 3 different or condition, and it will go in this format where customer city is equal to this, or customer city is equal to that, or customer city is equal to this. You have to write a very long or condition just to handle such situation. But that is where the in operator comes in. With the in operator, you're able to easily filter for multiple values without having to write long conditions. It is very, very efficient. It makes your code look more neat, and it's even much more better when it comes to performance as well. With the in operator, you're able to filter for multiple values from a single column. Note, it has to be from a single column. You can't use the in operator on multiple columns. So it will be something like where the city is in either of these options, city A, city B, city C. So that way it helps you filter for any of the customers that fall into those options. With the in operator, you can do this much more better rather than using the or operator. Let's jump over to my Postgres screen and let's see the in operator in action. All right. So for the in operator, we'll be working with these 4 business questions in order to just see how we can put it to good use. So the very first question we have here says we should get the name, the gender, and the email of customers in 3 different cities: Abuja, Calabar, or Ikeja. Now remember what we have been doing so far. You first of all try to figure out what table you would need in order to answer this question. So for this case, seeing how all this is pertaining to customer information, we can just take a look at the customers table by using select star from customers table. So let's run this query and see what we have in the customers table. So here we have this customer information here. Now we want to get customers in Abuja, Calabar, or Ikeja. So far, based on what we have done, we would have wanted to do something like this using the OR operator, since we know that with the OR operator, you're able to filter for multiple conditions. So where either of them is true. If the customer lives in Abuja, we want that, or if the customer lives in Calabar, we want that, or if the customer lives in Ikeja, we also want that. So that would have been something like this, where the city is equal to Abuja, or the city again is equal to Ikeja, or the same city again is equal to Calabar. Now, if we should run this query, this actually solves the problem. This gives us the results we need, as you can see. If you look at the list of the cities of these customers, they are either living in Ikeja, Abuja, or Calabar. So yeah, this solves the problem. But then this is not very efficient. And secondly, you can see how long this condition is. Imagine, what if we had wanted customers living in 10 different cities? Then our condition is going to be very, very long. And another issue with this is when combining this with the AND function, just like we saw in the AND or the OR video, when combining this with the AND function, it doesn't really work well, or your filter logic doesn't really come out the way you want it, except to use the bracket to maybe group them together. Then that way it makes it easier. But with the in operator, we don't have to worry about all that, because the in operator, you're just filtering for everything simultaneously. So that would go something like this, where the city in, then you open up a bracket and you specify the different filter conditions. So in this case, the filter could either be, the city rather, could either be Abuja, or the city could be Ikeja, or the city could also be Calabar. So now we are saying where the city is in either of these options. It could be this, or this, or this. So you can see that this code is much more shorter, and this is much more efficient in terms of performance as well. And also, when you need to combine this with another condition using the AND, This is much more better and much more accurate as well. So let's just run this and see the result we get. The result should be exactly the same. As you can see, we have exactly the same result. But does this satisfy our question? Yes, you got that right. It doesn't satisfy our question because our question says you should get the name, the gender, and just the email of these customers. But here we are selecting star, which is why we are seeing all the columns. So we only want the customer name, comma. We also want their gender, comma. And lastly, we want their email address. So we've selected the columns we want. Let's rerun our query and see what we get this time. And then boom, we have just the names of the customers, their gender, and the email. And because of this city filter, it is making sure that the results we are getting are just for customers living in either of these locations. So that is how the in operator works. The in operator helps you filter for multiple conditions without having to write long or conditions. And it's also much more efficient in terms of performance as well. And like I also added, when it comes to combining this condition using the and with another criteria, this is much more better. So we'll move on to the next one. Question 2 says we should retrieve the delivered or shipped orders for the products P02, P31, and P04. First thing we need to do is ask ourselves, what table can we get this kind of information from? That will definitely come from the orders table. So let's take a peek at that table. So select asterisk from orders. So this should show us the information there. Yeah, we can see all these different order information. You can see the customer that ordered, the date of the order, the product that was ordered, the quantity, and the delivery status. Here now we need to find out the delivered or the shipped orders. So where can we get that? From this delivery status column. And then we also need to make sure that it is either of these products. Where can we tell the product that was sold? It is here as well. We need to filter down our data, and we know to filter use the where clause. We can start with the delivery status column. The where delivery status, rather than using where delivery status is equal to shipped or delivery status is equal to delivered, we can just use the in operator to just handle this double criteria. So we say in, so the delivery status could either be delivered or the delivery status could be shipped. So with this, we've handled those two conditions. And then if we run the query like this at this point, just to see what we are having, this will filter down our orders to just the shipped and the delivered orders. But we are not done yet. We need to make sure that the orders we are retrieving are for this specific product, either P02, P31, or P04. So that would mean, let's break down the question very, very well, just to make sure we are filtering for the accurate information. So it says, retrieve the delivered or shipped orders for these products. Whatever order we are going to retrieve, it has to either be delivered or shipped, and at the same time, it has to be for any of these three products. Are we going to use the and or the or operator to tie this delivery status condition together with this product condition? So it has to be the and operator, because I want the delivery status to either be delivered or shipped, and at the same time, it should be for any of these products. So that is why the and operator is the perfect use case here, just like we discussed in the and or the or video. So rather than using the or operator, because if we should use the or operator to tie them together, that would mean we are saying any order that has been delivered or shipped, or any order for P02, P31, or P04. So you'd realize that that will not be very, very accurate. All we want is instead delivered or shipped orders for any of these specific products, which is why we are using the and operator here. We can now go ahead and see where the product that was ordered is in. Remember, we want to look at these three criteria at the same time. So rather than doing where the product ID is equal to P02 or the product ID is equal to P04 and so on, we can just use the in operator to handle that. So we'll say where it is in either P02 or P31 or P04. Let's run this and see what we get, and boom. So let's just quickly evaluate the result and see if this is correct. So we can see that on our delivery status column, we are seeing only delivered or shipped, delivered or shipped. And if we look at the product ID column, we are only seeing P04, P31, P02. Even if we keep scrolling down, we'll only see those particular products, P31, P02, P04. So you will not see any products other than products that meet this condition. And at the same time, you will not see any other delivery status other than delivery status that meets this particular condition. Why? Because we tied them together using the AND operator. Remember, you use the AND operator when you know that both sides of your condition or the different criteria you're looking at, they need to be met before you go ahead and retrieve that data. Also, just to add, you can also notice that the IN operator searches for multiple values in a column at a time. So you cannot use the IN operator to say something like delivery status or product ID in, no, one column at a time, and then the different criteria you want to look at. That wraps up the second question. Let's look at the third one. This one says we should retrieve the name and price of laptop or mobile phone products above $1,000. So what table can we get this information from? Looking at our database, this will definitely come from our products table. So we'll take a look at that products table quickly, and then we can see the different product information that we have. So here we want to retrieve the name and the price of either laptop or mobile phones. So how can we tell if a product is a laptop or a mobile phone? It is from the category column. And then at the same time, whatever laptop or mobile phone we are retrieving, we need to make sure that this laptop or mobile phone, the price is above $1,000. So where can we check that? We can check that from the unit price column. So let's go ahead and set up our filter. So to filter, as we already know, you need the where clause. So we see where the product category is in. So rather than using the OR operator, we'll be going with the in operator. So we'll say where it is in. So I want the product to either be a mobile phone or the product can also be a laptop. We need to make sure that our product is a mobile phone or a laptop. And then for whatever mobile phone or laptop we are retrieving, the price should be above $1,000. So that means we are going to use the AND operator to tie this category filter together with the price filter. Remember, they are using the AND because both sides of this condition need to be true before we retrieve any product. We can now go ahead and see where the price is above 1,000. And then if we run the query, let's see. So let's quickly evaluate this. We are seeing some laptops. We are seeing only laptop and mobile phones alone. And at the same time, if we look at their prices, they are all above $1,000. So this is coming out accurately because we tied the two sides of the condition together using the right operator. Now, but does this satisfy our question? Yeah, you got that right. This doesn't satisfy our question. Our question says we should only retrieve the name and the price of this particular product. So rather than selecting star, we'll just go ahead and select the product name, comma, and also the unit price, since that is all is required. We are going to rerun the query, then boom, we are getting the right results for just products that are either a mobile phone or a laptop and their prices are above $1,000. So that wraps up the third question. And if you've come this far, you can already feel yourself getting better and better when it comes to writing SQL query, which is just the point of this entire series, to help you make SQL simple. Just as the name implies, SQL made simple. So let's move on to the very last question for this video. So we have expected to find all orders that were delivered to customers with ID 5, 86, or 51. So where can we find this information about orders? That would definitely be coming from our orders table. So quickly take a peek at our orders table. Now we can see all the order information. But what do we want? We are not interested in all this data. We only need to see orders that have been delivered. Orders that have been delivered. So let's filter for that first. We can see where the delivery status is equal to delivered. And if we run our query like this at this point, just to see what we are having, you can now see that we are getting all the delivered orders alone. But is this what we want? No. We are only interested in orders that were delivered to any of these guys. So either the customer's ID is 5, 86, or 51. So how do we do that? We use the AND operator to tie the delivery status criteria with the customer criteria, because any delivered order, we need to make sure that it was delivered to either of this person. So both sides of the condition are mandatory and necessary. Go ahead and say where the customer ID. Or now we have multiple criteria for the customer ID. The customer ID can either be 5 or 86 or 51. So rather than using the long or condition to say where the customer ID is equal to 5 or customer ID is equal to 86 or customer ID is equal to 51. So rather than doing that, we now have a better option, which is the in operator. So we can go ahead and say where the customer ID is either 5, 86, or 51. Notice that for this condition, I'm not putting them in quotes. If you had noticed that, that is because the customer ID column is what? Integer. So these are whole numbers. We don't need to put them in quotes. You only use quotes, like I already stated in the very first filtering video, that you use quotes for text. So we'll go ahead and run this and see what we have so far. And then boom, you can now see that these delivered orders we are getting is either delivered to customer with ID 86, 51, or 5, just as the question requires. With this, we've successfully looked at different ways you can use the in operator. We've also even added some bonus, seeing how you can also combine the in operator with the and operator when you just have a much more complex or specific data set that you require. Gradually, your SQL toolkit or your SQL arsenal is improving day by day as you follow this series. All right, and that's a wrap on the in operator. So by now you should be feeling better and better as you follow this series. With the in operator, we've basically covered how you can efficiently handle multiple criteria from a single column. But what about when you need to handle missing values or unknown data points? So that is where the null or the is null filter operators come in. And then also, just like we had done for every other video in this series, in the description of this video, you'll be seeing a couple of questions that you can try your hands on, and you can just drop your queries in the comment section, and then we can review it there together and also see how we can help each other grow. So I'll see you in the next one. Do well to like this video, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to make sure that you're always staying up to date whenever we drop the next episode in this series. So keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next one.